And I'll turn the time over to her. Take it away, Heidi.
All right. Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here. I want to apologize in advance. I've got a little bit of a scratchy throat today, so I hope I don't start coughing in the middle of everything. But let me go ahead and set this up and share my screen here with you. Okay, so here we are. I am super excited to be here with you today. I hope everybody is doing well. We are going to talk about how to start a small business with your Cricut machine today. And in this class, we are mostly going to focus on ways that you can make and sell things with your machines, but I will touch a little bit briefly at the end on other ways that you can make money with your Cricut machine as well. So this class is for you if you already own a Cricut machine and you are thinking about starting a small business. And it is also for you if you are thinking about purchasing a Cricut machine and you're just a little bit curious about what some of these business building opportunities could potentially be. So hopefully by now everybody has loaded in that is going to be joining us today. So I will go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Heidi and I am the owner and creative director at Happiness is Homemade, which I started in 2010. So I have been crafting professionally for 12 years. We run a craft and DIY website where we teach people how to use different kinds of crafting tools and make different kinds of projects. And those craft tutorials and printables and other ideas are viewed about 11 million times a year. So we do a lot of different teaching. Over the years, I have also made and sold my own crafts. So I used to have an Etsy shop, and now I currently run a Shopify shop that is linked to my website. I also am the proud owner of virtually all of the Cricut machines that are currently available on the market. So I know a little bit about them. And one of my favorite things to do is to teach people how to use their Cricut and how to make things with it and how to make money with it. So I am really super excited to be here and sharing that with you today. So I always say that the best Cricut machine to start your business with is the one that you already have. So if you do already have a Cricut machine, you are good to go. You can go ahead and get started with that. And you can always go ahead and, upgrade and expand as your business grows. But if you don't already have a Cricut machine, I'm going to just briefly go over the differences between them for you here. So all of the current Cricut machines can cut paper, cardstock, adhesive vinyl, iron-on, and infusible ink. So basically all of your basic materials that you use to make, t-shirts, paper crafting, you can do all of those with any of the Cricut machines that are currently on the market. They also can all draw with the Cricut pens and infusible ink markers. They're all compatible with the Cricut foil transfer system, so you can add foil details to your craft projects. You can connect them all wirelessly, or you can plug them in USB into your computer as well. Also, all of the machines utilize the Cricut Design Space software, so that's going to allow you to upload your own images and designs. And it's also going to give you the opportunity to become a Cricut Access subscriber. Now, Cricut Access is a monthly subscription where you pay a small fee, and that is going to give you access to it's over 200,000 graphics and 700 different fonts. So if you are someone who finds yourself downloading SVG files all the time, or you're constantly searching for the right font, you definitely want to look into maybe getting a Cricut Access subscription because that is well worth the money. Now, I do want to note here real quickly that I'm going to go through some of these slides quickly, but there will be the replay. Like Maddie mentioned, it will be on the Michael's YouTube channel on Monday. So you can always go back and look at these a little bit closer if I move too quickly. So you'll see here that the machines currently on the market are the Cricut Maker family of machines, which includes the Maker and the Maker 3. There is no Maker 2. The Cricut Explorer machines, which is the Explorer Air 2 and the Explorer 3, and the Cricut Joy. So the Cricut Maker is your machine that's going to do the most things with it. It will cut over 300 different materials. The Explorer will cut over 100 materials, and the Joy cuts over 50. The real difference here between the Maker and the Maker 3 and the Explorer Air 2 and the Explorer 3 is in their ability to utilize Cricut's new smart materials, which are going to allow you to cut matlessly and up to 12 feet in length. The Maker is also the only machine that utilizes the adaptive tool system. So there are actually 13 different tools available for the Maker, and that includes a rotary blade for fabric, a knife blade for cutting thicker materials, and other tools that will help you do engraving, perforation, and whatnot. You've got 6 tools with the Explore and 3 tools that work with the Joy. So which machine is best for you is really going to depend on what you're looking to do with it. The Maker is going to cut the largest variety of materials, like I said, with that adaptive tool system. So it is really good for advanced crafters and people who are looking to do all the things with one machine, but it is also the most expensive. The Explorer is going to be your best mix of budget and materials compatibility. And it is also available in a wide variety of colors to match your craft room. So if you are one of those people who likes to match all of your materials and all of your machines to your space, the Explorer is the only one that is available in such a wide variety of colors. It's great for beginning and intermediate crafters, and is usually what I recommend for beginners to start with. The Joy is also the most budget-friendly Cricut machine. It is the least expensive. It has a smaller footprint, which is great if you have limited space. And it's also really great for on-the-go crafting. So say you were at a craft fair and you wanted to offer like on-site personalization or customization for whatever it is that you're selling, that is a great opportunity to use the Cricut Joy there. So it's really good also for beginning crafters. It is great for card makers because it uses the Cricut card mat system. It's the only machine that uses the Cricut card mat, and it's good for people who are looking to make smaller scale projects. So now that you've got your machine, you have to decide, what do you want to make and sell? Now, there are so many things that you could make and sell with your Cricut. I mean, it's practically endless, but here are some of the popular categories of things to sell. Clothing is always popular, t-shirts, tank tops, whatnot. Party decor is also a really great one. That can be for any kind of special events, whether it's a birthday party, a wedding, or a graduation. There is a huge market for special event party decor and favors as well. Baby goods, onesies, blankets. I don't know if you've seen those monthly milestone. Sometimes they do stickers or an iron-on to go on the baby onesies. Those are really popular right now. Everybody likes baby gifts, especially if you need to go to a baby shower. There are accessories. Mugs and cups are another really big one. I know in the last couple of years that glitter tumblers, the bling tumblers, personalized wine glasses, those have been super popular, and I don't really see that slowing down anytime soon. Home decor is always great because people are always looking for unique and personalized decor for their homes. And you've also got things like signs and wreaths, cards and stickers, planner stickers especially are really big right now as well as holiday decor. So when selecting what you're going to make and sell, the first thing to do is to rate your level of enthusiasm for making each item. So is it something that you're going to enjoy making if all of a sudden this blows up and it's huge for you and you are making hundreds of these items in the course of a year? Are you still going to be having fun with it? Are you still going to be wanting to make those things? I think that's something that's really important to consider at the very beginning. You also want to consider your pricing, your materials costs, and the time it takes to create each item. Do you want to make, maybe you're making a whole bunch of bracelets that you can make really quickly and you can build up your inventory and they're not too expensive to create? Or are you thinking about maybe making some larger scale items, maybe some bigger ticket items that take a little bit longer to create? So with that, you also want to evaluate how much space you're going to need to dedicate not only to making the products, but also to storing any potential inventory that you have. So a great way to do this also is to gauge your audience's response to potential products. So before you start making a whole bunch of things that you've never tried to make and sell before, start with maybe making just like 2 or 3 of those, and you can put those up on your social media channels and just say something like, hey, testing some new prototypes. What do you think? Should we add these to the shop? And go ahead and get that feedback from your customers. I mean, it's excellent market research that you've got right there. They may tell you, oh my gosh, we love this. Or it might be like, we don't really like that much. Or they may really give you some useful feedback. Like, I love that, but I wish those earrings were a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger or a different color. So really make use of that. The next thing you want to do is to investigate the level of competition. Is there a need for your products, or is the market already saturated? Now, say you want to make and sell something and you're looking around and you see that there are like 50 other sellers that make and sell exactly what you want to sell. That's okay. is first thing you want to do is maybe think like, is there a way I can put my own personal spin on this and make it unique and make it so that it's not quite like what everybody else is doing? But even if you can't, that's okay too, because your branding and your connection with your customers, you are going to be what sells your product. So even if there are 50 people already making and doing what you want to do, that doesn't mean that you can't do it also. But what that does mean is if you're trying to decide between, say, I'm thinking about making maybe baby onesies or tumblers, and you've got 50 people making the exact same kind of baby onesies that you want to make, and maybe 5 people making the tumblers, that might just help weigh your decision a little bit in the first place. So really take the time, do some research. It's really worth your time, and it's important to do at the very beginning. So, okay, that is a lot of information that we've given you already. So let's go ahead and answer some questions that we have from you guys. If you have questions about what Cricut machine to use or what to make and sell, go ahead, ask them in the chat right now.
Go ahead and type them in the Q&A, please. It helps us keep track of who's asked what. We do have quite a few questions that have come in so far, so I'm just going to throw them at you, Heidi.
Okay, hopefully I can answer these.
All right, so we have a few technical questions for people's specific Cricut machines, and I would recommend if you're having any technical issues to reach out to the Cricut help and support line, and they might be able to help you with that. But related to some of the things you discussed, Tracy is asking, how do you specifically investigate your level of competition? Are there any sites or places you should look first?
I would go first probably to your main places. Look at Etsy, maybe search on Facebook, look at the different Facebook groups and pages, reach out to people, ask them what they know. If you're thinking about selling in person, I would suggest going out to some of the craft fairs in your area, walking around, seeing how many vendors there are, and also looking to see, are their items selling? I mean, that doesn't mean that you're going to go to the craft fair and say, hey, this is working really great for this person, I'm going to do the same thing, because what works for one person is not guaranteed to work for you. But you can maybe see like, hey, all these home decor booths are really popular, and I don't see very many people over here on the t-shirts. So just actually getting out there, whether it's in person or searching the online sites, is probably the best way to do that.
Perfect. Okay, we have some questions related to that. Some people are asking if it's better to sell, AL is asking, is the best place to start selling your items online or at flea markets or craft fairs? Do you recommend one over the other?
So we will cover more of that later on in the presentation here, but it really just depends on what you want to do. I mean, in person is a great way to make connections with your customers and really, getting to know them. But you can also do that online, and there is a chance of getting more eyes on your product when you sell online, just because it's a bigger world.
All right. And next question. Do you try to trademark or copyright your sayings? Do you worry about people stealing your ideas or patterns?
So it really is dependent. Trademarking is not as easy to do as you may think. I do personally have my own brand. I have Happiness is Homemade up there. That is trademarked, but only for me. That is only trademarked in the usage of online and in terms of my website. It's hard to trademark something that is a phrase or a commonly used expression. So if you're thinking about trying to trademark, like you're making a shirt that has some kind of quote on it and you don't want anybody else to use that, it is a lot harder to get that type of trademark than it is to just trademark, say, your actual business name.
All right, and next question. What is the best place to sell products? Is it Etsy or another place? But I think you mentioned you'll be speaking more on.
Yeah, I will
later.
be covering that some more closer to the end here.
Do you recommend any of the best supplies to start with? Any basic pens, blades, or types of vinyl? If you're just figuring out what you like and testing the waters, what do you recommend?
So it is going to still depend on what you want to do, just because there's so many different supplies available. But I would suggest maybe getting a basic set of the Cricut pens or the infusible ink markers if you're thinking that you would like to go that direction. Regular adhesive vinyl and your basic iron-on vinyl, you're going to be able to make a ton of different projects just with those materials. as well as different kinds of cardstock. So I would say if you're just starting out, adhesive vinyl, iron-on vinyl, and cardstock are probably the best thing to invest in first, because there's just so many different things that you could make just with those.
Next question. We're having some curiosities about how you charge for your product and estimating what is the value of the product that you're selling.
So I know that there are a lot of different formulas out there. I don't really use any of those personally, but you can Google, pricing formulas, and there are a lot of different ways out there. For me, I look at how much the materials cost, how much time I have to put into each thing to make those. Give yourself an hourly rate that you would like to make and calculate how much time you're spending on each of those. So take that and your time and your materials, and then put that together, and then add some. I know some people will double what their time and materials cost are.
Now we're having some questions about, are the images or phrases in the Cricut app copyrighted or free use? And are you able to sell those things that you use from the access?
So the images that are in Cricut Design Space, I would say the answer is yes, but yes, mostly. What you want to do is Cricut has what is called the angel policy. So if you look at Cricut angel policy, I believe it's actually just cricut.com/angel-policy. I'm not 100% sure that that's correct, but I believe so. What that will do is it will let you know what you can and can't do with their images. Most of the images and fonts that are in the Cricut Access subscription or in the Design Space library, you are able to use those commercially for items that you make and sell, but there are a few that you aren't able to. Some of the licensed images, they have like Disney, Harry Potter, Sesame Street, those ones are not available. So definitely go check out the Cricut Angel policy. It lists all of that information for you, and it will let you know which ones are and aren't allowed to be used commercially.
Awesome. And the questions are rolling in. They're really coming in fast.
So why don't I move forward a little bit, and then I'm going to have, we'll get through this. And when we get to the end, I have a lot of extra time there, so I can take even more questions.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. All right. So once you've decided what you want to make and sell, the next thing you might want to think about is, can I niche down even further? So first of all, what is a niche and why do I need one? So in business, a niche is a specialized segment of the marketplace. For example, the selling of one particular product or service. So your niche might be as broad as saying, I sell clothing and apparel, or it could be as narrow as saying, I specialize in selling funny baby onesies to new parents. But don't let those terms broad and narrow fool you, because narrowing your niche can actually lead to increased sales and visibility. So selecting a niche is going to allow you to become a trusted and go-to resource for the types of items that you decide to sell. So say you're going to sell these wine glasses that are sitting on the thing here. You may make those for a friend's birthday party. And what happens is somebody goes, oh my gosh, I love those. Where did you get that? Where did you get that? Or you're sharing these on social media over and over and over again. So what happens is people are going to start connecting you to that product. And then when it comes time to, hey, I need to get a gift for my best friend for her birthday. She really likes wine. What should I get? They're going to go, oh, I know this lady who makes a really great wine glass. You should check her out. So what that does is it allows you to become that go-to resource for them. Also, selling a niche specific product is going to allow you to really become an expert at that making process, which means you're going to produce high quality products for people, and you're going to become incredibly knowledgeable about what you make and sell. And I think being knowledgeable and having high quality products is really the best way to position yourself as a leader in your industry. So choosing a niche can also help to lower your materials costs, because when you're not just dabbling in a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you can buy your materials in bulk, and that is going to save you both time and money. So when you do that, you can go ahead and check out our friends at Michael's. They offer these incredible packs called Pro Packs, and that is where you can buy bulk products. They have all kinds of things in bulk here. Pro Packs of t-shirts, vinyl, iron-on, cardstock, tumblers, just all kinds of things. So you definitely want to go check that out. All right, so you've got your Cricut machine. You've got products to sell. You've maybe come up with your business name. Maybe you've got a logo and a color palette going for you. So what comes next? I think this is the biggest question I get from people. What next? What do I do? So next up is building your brand. So your brand is more than just your colors and your logo. Branding is the way that you present your business to the world. It'll show off your style, your personality, and the values of your business, and it can help to create an emotional connection with your potential clients and customers. So branding could be anything from the style of photography that you use and the overall vibe that you put off with that, the tone of voice that you use in your listings and your social media posting. And it can even extend to other businesses that you want to maybe collaborate with, or the other companies or even charities that your brand supports. So for example, sorry, I need some water here. Excuse me. So for example, with us at Happiness is Homemade, we donate 10% of our shop proceeds every month to various mental health organizations. And so we also share, when we share things on our social media, we share our crafts and our tutorials, but we also frequently share posts and memes that are related to mental health. And so what that does, is it lets our audience know that mental health is important to us. That is something that we prioritize. And just, that small sliver of our branding pie, so to speak, has really led to a lot of incredible connections that we've made with other people. So I think the biggest takeaway with branding is that branding is about what you're showing people, but it is less about what they see and more about what you make them feel. So let's look at a couple of examples here. This is a brand board I put together for my friend, Corey George, over at Hey Let's Make Stuff. And you'll see here, the first thing you see when you look at this collection is bright colors. It's going to invoke a feeling of fun and playfulness. It's cheery. These are all holiday projects, so it feels very celebratory. She uses a lot of similar repeated font elements in all of her different projects. So what that does is it really helps to tie everything together and look not only like a cohesive collection, but like the same maker, made this, and what you'll start to know what to expect from this person when you see similar projects over and over and over again. So in terms of her photography here, everything is really clean. It's really bright. She uses minimal props so that her projects really get to take center stage and shine. So aside from her logo and the colors and everything, you'll see that branding extends to what this collection of photos makes you feel when you first see it. It's not just the colors, it's the whole feeling of the brand altogether. Now, in contrast here, this is a board I put together for my friend Colleen over at Lemon Thistle. And you'll see it gives you an entirely different feeling when you first look at it. It's darker, it's moodier, and that's in both its photography style and just the way that everything is presented. She's got a lot more props around her photos here, and that kind of helps you, maybe see that and picture it in your own home a little bit better. And that sort of gives you also maybe a little bit more of a homey and cozy vibe to it. She includes a lot of plants. She includes a lot of greenery in there. And you can see the repeated elements with her. She does incredible hand lettering. And so a lot of her projects include her hand lettering skills. So you could see, from that first slide here, back and forth, the two ones, color definitely will play into your branding, but really it is what you do with that color and the story that you try and tell that is going to leave the strongest impression on your customers. Now, another thing in your branding and marketing is, who are you selling to? In order to guide your brand and direct your marketing efforts, you have to know who you're selling to. So who is your target audience? Who is looking to purchase your products? Are you trying to help somebody out? Are you making party supplies that you're trying to market to busy moms and parents that may not have the time to make them themselves? Figure out who that person is. So one activity that people do, and I have done this myself, is to create an avatar of your ideal customer and use this fictitious person as inspiration in your marketing. So for me, I have a character. Her name is Lindsay. She's a couple years younger than me. She's got 2 young kids. She likes to be crafty, but she's not super confident in her skills, but she would like to learn more because she is curious as to know, if she gets better at this, if there's a chance that she could earn money with her crafting talent down the road. Lindsay's got a whole backstory. So when I am writing an email or a social media post, I am directing that to Lindsay, even though Lindsay's not a real person. I'm having this conversation with this fictitious person because she is my ideal client that I am trying to attract. And so what that happens is when you put that out there, you'll find that even though there's not a real Lindsay, there's a whole lot of Lindsay-like people who are going to be on the receiving end of your social media or your email newsletter. And even though you're attracting a lot of different types of people, you will certainly find that you will be attracting that ideal customer type to you. So figure out who that person is and then market to them specifically. All right, let's do more questions. That's a lot of information again. So if you have any questions about choosing a niche or branding, go ahead and ask those in the chat. I'm going to go ahead, and I think our next topics here are going to be more of where and how to sell. So.
All right, so we do have quite a lot of questions. I've been trying to answer some of the more specific questions and dropping links. If you guys open up the Q&A box and you can go to the questions tab, there should be a second tab where you're able to view any answers that I've written out there. As for questions for Heidi, we have one that is asking, do you have any tips for starting out and picking your brand name or just where to even begin choosing a brand image?
I think that branding it's very personal. So it's going to really depend on what you want to present. But I would say start with the things that you love. So for me, it's, bright rainbow colors. My brand is narrowed a little bit. So it's not, I don't include all of the colors exactly anymore. But the things that you love can go into your color palette. It will go into the projects that you make. It can go into your name. I mean, I know a lot of people will, like if you've got two kids, they'll combine their kid's name into their business name. Make it really personal. Don't just make it something that you think is going to appeal to the masses, because what you want to do is to connect with the people that connect with the things that you love. So make your brand personal to the things that you love.
Awesome. Next question. We have a few people asking about getting a business license, or when do you take that step from just being a person that sells to some friends to making it an official business?
I think really from the very beginning, you should probably set yourself up with a business name. I think being in the mindset of this is a business and not just something I do for fun. Like if you're making money, even if you're just selling to your friends and family, it's a business and you should treat it as such. And I think really, giving yourself a name and thinking about it in terms of it being a professional organization is going to shift your mindset, and you will start taking yourself more seriously when you do that. In terms of business licenses, that is really dependent on your specific area. Different states and different regions have different licensing requirements. So you would probably just need to look that up and see what is required of you at what point in your journey.
Next question. We have some people asking about if it's necessary to create your own website, or if you can just use something like Etsy or another platform as your main shopping point.
You could definitely just do Etsy. I would say you're going to get your best results though when you have social media channels that you can promote on and direct people over to your Etsy. If you have a website, if you have an email newsletter, all of those things really work hand in hand. So the more places you can try to reach out to people, the more opportunity you have to grow your business. But if you're just starting out and you're thinking, I'm just going to put a few things on Etsy to start for now and see where it goes, that's absolutely, you can just start there.
And I just will do a little shout out. We did have a Year of the Pro Q&A 2 weeks ago about social media and promotion. So you can find that on Michael's YouTube channel as well.
Yes. That was Matthew, Mr. Domestic, did one on social media. I watched that class. It was excellent. If you want to learn about social media, definitely go watch that class. I was going to say also, if you don't know social media and it's overwhelming to you, it's scary, you don't know what to post or what to say, there are tons and tons of classes and videos, free classes and videos that you can go out there and watch. And I would definitely start with that one.
We had some people who were curious about the brand board that you showed a few slides back and asking about if you decide to change your brand name or logo after you get established. Do you think that is a good move, or is that always a bad idea?
Well, I can speak personally to this because I have always had from the beginning, since 2010, I have always had a full rainbow of colors as my branding. And people really knew me as, the rainbow girl for a really long time. And I think I wanted to do something a little bit different. And so just earlier beginning of last year, I switched and I narrowed my palette. You can kind of see behind me here. I now have more of a sunset colors when you're looking at my website. And I do find that it's a little bit challenging for me as a website because I have, I'm constantly showing things from previous years. If you're just listing things in a shop and you're currently, showing just all of your current products, you might not have quite the issue. But I do find I run into a little bit of trouble when I am showing old projects or whatnot. And it's like, oh, look, I've got this bright green thing that doesn't really match anywhere. So you want to put some thought into it when you're first choosing your stuff. But you can change and you can skew things. And I've changed my logo several times over the years. Pepsi changes their logo over the years. Like, you can constantly refresh and update while still kind of keeping things similar so that it's not just such a jarring change from one to another.
Awesome. We have a few people who are still asking questions about licensing and taxes even, and I will recommend everyone do a little bit of research on your own, consult a professional or a licensed lawyer who might be able to help you out with that business.
Definitely. I think, there are costs involved with all of those things, so you need to figure out what point you are on your journey, but having an accountant who can really walk you through all of those things is really important, as well as having a lawyer who can help answer your questions. You might find a lot of different issues with licensing. You certainly cannot just go to Google and take an image and say, I'm going to make a project with this. You need to have a commercial license and be allowed to make and sell those things. So having a professional that is familiar with that, who can guide you through the process, is really incredibly useful. And if you don't know about just licensing in general, I think there are some places, I'm not exactly sure where to recommend, but if you reach out to me later, I will look up a couple of different places and see if I can point you in the right direction that will give you some good information.
On the same note of hiring outside help, do you think it's worth the investment of hiring someone to design your logo for you, or perhaps even your full brand board?
If that is not your thing, if you are not comfortable designing that yourself, it's totally worth it to have somebody do that for you, just because they may, give you an entirely different point of view than what you were thinking in the first place. And you may find that you totally love that, but it's not something that you would have ever considered on your own.
Perfect. I think we will pause there for now.
Okay. Sorry, my throat's really. Okay, so what everybody wants to talk about, where to sell. So where to sell online. Like I said, online is obviously a bigger world. You've got more chances of getting more eyes on your product maybe than if you were just selling locally, especially if you live somewhere where there are not a lot of people. So the very first thing I think that you should do when you're setting up your business is set up social media accounts for your business. All of the different accounts. So on Facebook, that could be a Facebook page, a Facebook group maybe for your product. I do mention Marketplace there. That is just a selling option. An Instagram account, a TikTok account, and you'll even want to set up a Pinterest and a Twitter account, even though there's not as much selling going on over there. You do just want to have that secure it, keep your brand name so that nobody else comes in and takes your handle and tries to pass themselves off as you. So social media, I know there are a lot of people who are like, I'm not 16, I'm not going to join TikTok, but really you don't know where your customers hang out until you try it. So I would suggest first signing up for all of them just to get your name and handle, and then experiment with posting. It's going to take a little while. You want to post consistently, and don't just post once and then once over here and then one over here. Get on a consistent schedule of posting on social media and really give it some time, because any new business is going to take a while to get off the ground. So give it, I would say at least 6 months of really consistently posting before you can decide, okay, this channel is really not for me. I'm not getting much engagement here, or this one's really great. This is the best place for me to be. There are so many brands and companies and sellers that have tremendous success only selling on social media. So Like I said before, if it's overwhelming to you and you don't know what to do with all of that, don't discount it. Learn how to do it. You have to really put yourself out there and experiment and try different things. And social media is definitely going to help you, not only with just selling on social media, but also if you have an Etsy store or your own shop, with helping to drive traffic over to those places as well. Okay, Etsy. Everybody wants to know about Etsy. So Etsy and Amazon Handmade, I kind of view them sort of the same way, just in terms of, I really think of them as like the mall of handmade goods. So you've got people who may say, I need a baby shower present, and I am headed over to Etsy because I want to look and see what they have there, and they're headed there, they want to make a purchase, they are ready to go. And you also have a bunch of people who are like, hey, I'm going to just wander around Etsy today. I don't see what's new, see what people are posting, go get some inspiration for something maybe I want to make on my own. So you do have the benefit there of having a built-in audience. There are already people there. You get a store in the mall and it's like, yay, there's already people here, and that is a really great thing. But you also have a lot of competition over there. So if you want to sell on Etsy and you're thinking about selling only on Etsy, you really need to figure out what it is that you can do there to make you stand out from everybody else. And that is going to likely be in your branding and the way you present things, and definitely in your photography. You really need to make sure that you have great photography, because that is what is going to stand out. And that is the very first thing that people are going to notice there. So another one is you could sell on eBay or other auction platforms. I don't personally have a ton of experience doing that. I mostly have used eBay to, sell old household goods and stuff. But if eBay is your jam, I know a lot of people have been really successful over there. You can also build your own online shop. Shopify and WooCommerce are the two biggest ones that a lot of people use. I personally have a shop with Shopify, and I totally love it. I think the greatest thing about having your own shop is, first of all, there is no competition. You have full control over the way everything looks. You've got, all of the different layouts, how many pictures you want to show of different things. You control all of the different things there. But going back to our mall analogy, when you've got everybody here at the mall and you've maybe got a standalone business separately down the street, it's going to be a lot harder to get traffic over there to that business, especially when everybody's already hanging out over here. So that is where your social media is really going to come in handy, your blog or your website that you may build as well, and an email newsletter. If you put up a website that has nothing on it but some basic information about you and an email sign up, your email newsletter it's worth its weight in gold. I mean, these are people who are essentially telling you, when you have a new product, send it straight to my inbox. I want to know about it. So you want to take all of those things and help direct that traffic over to your shop, whether that shop is an Etsy shop or a Shopify shop that's a standalone. All of that works hand in hand to build off of one another. And you also have the option of selling in person. Now, I know in person is not maybe exactly all up to speed right now the way we're used to, but eventually we'll get back there. So, excuse me, we have the option of selling at craft fairs and festivals. You've got pop-up shops, fundraisers, special events. You could open up your own brick and mortar store, which is a lot of work, but could be very rewarding for some people. If that sounds like it's too much work for you, maybe seek out other local specialty stores that might be willing to carry your products. I know that just in our area, we have a bunch of small businesses where they sell not only their own products, but they showcase items from other local makers as well. In-home parties, like good old Tupperware party light candle parties, you can sell your products that way. Invite some friends over, have some drinks, show off what you're making, and you can either sell ready to sell goods there or take orders for products. Word of mouth referrals are always good. And you can also sell at local handmade markets or even farmers markets if your product is a fit for that. Right, so selling tips and tricks. I get asked a ton about tips and tricks for selling. So these are some of big ones and some of my favorite ones. So I mentioned photography before. Photography is key, especially if you're selling online. So you need to make sure that your images they're bright, they're clean, they're crisp, focused, and you really need to make sure that they're going to highlight and show off your products. I think one of the things that I see happen a lot is people want to include a lot of staging and a lot of other props in their images. So maybe I'm scrolling through Etsy and I see this picture has a mug and a planter and a watch in the front. And I'm like, which one of these things is for sale? Is it the watch? Is it the planter? Is it the mug? So really make sure that whatever you're doing with your photography is highlighting that product that is for sale. Also, accept lots of different payment options. Now, you don't have to accept all of the different payment options because there are some fees involved with it, but the easier it is for someone to pay you with their preferred method, the more likely it is that they're going to make a purchase. So instead of just saying, oh, I only accept cash or I only accept PayPal, see how many of those different things you can accept, because you will definitely people will make more purchases from you if you have more ways for them to pay. Sharing your new products and social media posts on a consistent schedule is going to help your customers get into a rhythm and know what to expect from you. So post your social media posts on a regular basis, but also when it comes to your shop, you'll want to, instead of just saying, oh, I'm making this bracelet and when I am done, I'm going to add this bracelet to my shop, or I'm going to add that pair of earrings to my shop, consider holding them all back and maybe once a month doing like a new product collection launch. So what that does is it gets your customers excited. They're anticipating this once a month thing that you do. And in the meantime, in between on your social media channels, you can be, sharing a couple of pairs of earring photos and saying, hey, look what's coming up in the new launch on X date. Maybe give them a video of the process of making a bracelet or these earrings. Really get them involved in what you're doing and make them a part of that process. And they're going to start to anticipate what they know is coming next. So when you do a big product drop, they're like, hey, first Saturday of the month, I know she always adds new stuff to her shop. They'll get into the rhythm and the routine of, they might just look at the calendar and say, oh, hey, this is the first Saturday. I better go check out her shop and see what's new. So really engage with your customers, get to know them, and focus on building a community. That is going to be your key to success. Your customers want to know you, and that's what's going to set you apart from all of the other people that are selling the same exact thing as you are. So remember that you are your secret sauce. So tell your story, connect with them, and that is going to be the measure of your success. So I mentioned that we would talk about other ways to earn money with a Cricut. So once you become proficient with your Cricut machine, it is time to pass on that knowledge. You can teach Cricut classes, teach people how to use their machines. You could do that in person, or you could do that online, or like me, you could have a blog or a website that may lead to advertising income or affiliate commissions, where you put a link to a Cricut machine in your blog post, and when you sell something, you'll get a small commission off of that sale. You could teach craft workshops. I don't know about your area, but mom's nights crafting are so hot right now here. People, get together with the ladies, have a glass of wine, paint a sign, make a craft for the evening. They are really super popular. So that is definitely a great way that you can earn money with your machine. You could also host open studio sessions or makerspace, where you allow people to come in and use your machine or test it out. Maybe they're thinking about buying a Cricut and they want to see how it works before they do. You can be on hand to answer any questions and help them through the process. And just know that there are lots of craft stores that offer online and in-person classes that you can apply to teach, as well as your parks and rec departments, schools, churches, scout programs, senior facilities. There are tons of places that will let you teach craft classes if that's what you're looking to do. So really, aside from making and selling items, there are tons and tons of ways that you really can earn money with your Cricut. So I think that's it. I've covered basically all of the things that I needed to cover. So if you guys have questions, go ahead.
Yes, we have quite a few lined up here in the Q&A. I have a good question for you. A couple of people have worded it a few different ways, and I don't think there's a real right answer to this. But Brigitte asks, should you only start a business if you have all of the products pre-made, like in the masses, or is it better to custom make each item?
I think it kind of depends on what you want to do. I know some people really want to test the waters with just a couple of products, but I think it's good to have a wide variety of things for people to choose from, even from the beginning. That doesn't mean that you have to have tons and tons and tons of things, but if you're going to build a shop or a website, I think it makes you look a little bit more professional if you go to your Etsy shop and you've got, 20 things there versus just 2 things that you're selling.
I think that also ties into this next question: how large should my portfolio of products be before setting up everything? And I think the real answer to that is you should set up your website and your social media and everything the moment you've incepted your business. You should start it as soon as you can.
Yep. Set up everything from the get-go. And then, you can load those products in over time. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to just put all 20 or whatever we want to say in all at once. You can let that build and grow over time, but I would maybe wait to start doing a lot of my promotion on social media and all of those shares until I have a few more products in there. So really, when I'm directing people over there, there's plenty of things for them to look at.
How do you feel about paying for advertising on social media versus just using your organic reach?
I have never paid for advertising myself. I know a lot of people do have success with that, but personally, it's not something I can really even speak to just because I haven't done that myself. I think that there are a lot of opportunities to do that without having to put any money into it. I mean, your social media channels themselves are essentially advertising, and there are a lot of different social media channels. There are a lot of different ways to get your stuff out there without ever having to pay for anything.
And going back to one of your very first slides, you spoke about what right machine is right for each person. If they are brand new to Cricut, they don't even know where to begin, what machine is best for like the complete novice, and then what are the key products or items that they should use to get to know their Cricut?
So I always recommend, again, like I said, it really depends on what you want to make and do with your machine. But right now, my number one recommendation is always the Cricut Explore Air 2, because with the introduction of the Explore 3, the prices come down a little bit on the Explore Air 2. And there's not all that much difference between the machines other than length of cutting and the ability to use the Smart Materials matless. So all of your basics that you really want to do, especially when you're just getting started, can be done with your Explore Air 2. And I think you're going to get a lot out of that machine, and it is the most budget friendly. So especially when you're first trying to, figure out what exactly you want to make and do with it, that would definitely be my recommendation. And like I said before, adhesive vinyl, iron-on vinyl, and cardstock, I think, are the 3 things you should start with, because you can make so many different things with those.
Okay, just reading through all the questions. Again, I apologize for everyone. We currently have 100 open questions that we have not gotten to yet, so it's unlikely we'll be able to answer every single one, but I'm doing my best to try to hit the highlights. Let's see. We have a few questions. People saw that you like the Explore Air 2, and they're asking, does it cut wood, or what are the top ends of its capabilities?
Okay. So if you want to cut thicker materials like thick tooling leather or wood, you're going to want to go with the Maker. The Maker is the only one that has the adaptive tool system, which is going to give you access to the knife blade or the rotary cutter for these thicker materials. Your Explore Air 2 comes with a fine point blade, and it does have a deep cut blade that is available for it as well, that will allow you to cut some of the thinner leathers, things like maybe shrink plastic. The shrink plastic jewelry is really fun to make, and you can do that with your Explore Air 2. But any of the really thicker materials are going to need to be cut with the Maker, because it actually also has more force and more pressure than the Explore Air 2 is capable of.
Next question. Can my business be successful if I only do this part-time and only put a few hours each week into my business?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's really going to just be about figuring out, what are your hits? What are the most popular things that you're making and selling? Figuring out where your customers are hanging out, whether that's social media or if they're just coming straight to your website, and really investing the limited amount of time that you have into those places. So it may take you a little bit longer if you have less time to put into it in the first place to figure out what those things are. But once you do, you can absolutely be successful with this with the part-time, without a doubt.
Next question is about how do you prefer to organize your workspace? And I just want to also give another shout out to last week's Year of the Pro video. We had Tisa who discussed how she organized all of her small business materials.
Yes, that was really good. I watched that one as well. For me, it really depends. Again, I know I keep saying it really depends, but it does depend upon the space that you're working with and how many materials that you're looking to try and organize and store. For me, I have lots of bins and shelves here in my studio, and I organize everything by color just because it is not only does it look pretty, it really helps me at quick glance able to see, oh, I need more pink vinyl, or oh, wow, I don't actually have very much black left. So when I have everything kind of grouped by color, it really allows me to easily assess my inventory.
And we have a lot of people asking if you have any favorite resources for learning different capabilities or tutorials on how to use your different Cricut machines.
Yeah, totally. We have some Cricut tutorials over on happinessishomemade.com. So you can go over there and check those out. I also have a couple of friends who really specialize in teaching people how to use their Cricut machines. So the first one is Hey Let's Make Stuff, the one who I showed a brand board for. She has ebooks that are fantastic. She's got one that's just for the basics. So if you're just getting started and you're like, I don't want to be overwhelmed with all the info, just let me know exactly the basics that I need to know. She's got a great ebook for that. And she also has one called the Ultimate Guide, which really does give you all the info. And if you're more into learning through video, my friend Angie Holden over at the Country Chic Cottage, if you go to YouTube and search up Angie Holden, she has tons and tons of videos on YouTube that will basically teach you anything you need to know about your machine, from taking it out of the box to all kinds of different projects. They are great places to check out.
Here's a specific question for you. Do you prefer smart materials or using mats?
I personally prefer using mats. I think smart materials definitely have their place. If I'm going to cut something large and oversized, I'm always going to reach for smart materials because I would rather cut a long cut than have to piece something together. But if I'm just cutting something that is normal mat size, I do generally reach for my mats. I find that the regular vinyl is a little bit easier to work with. The smart vinyl's got a really thick backing on it, and I just find that a little bit more challenging if I'm working with smaller projects.
Next question, what's the best way to package your products that you sell? How do you ship them?
Again, gonna depend on what you're making and selling, but your typical things, your bubble wrap, your mailers. There are so many different things that you can get. If you even just go look on Amazon alone, you'll see there are hundreds of different box options and different mailers. I think one of my favorite things to do, though, is to find something, again, that ties in with your branding, whether that is, you're wrapping it in colored tissue paper before you put it in there that matches you. You're going to put it in a mailer that matches your colors. Or there are, like for us, we use Sticker Mule. They actually make custom packaging for you, so it can have your logo and match all of your branding, and they do regular mailers, bubble mailers, all kinds of different things.
I also want to recommend, if you are doing the research in your competition, people who are selling your same products, go ahead and try buying one or two products from online and see how they package them and see if you take anything away from how they decided to mail that product to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, reading through questions. We have a few more people asking again about trademark policy and using designs such as like Disney and everything. And again, we'll refer to that Angel.
Yeah, definitely look in terms of the Cricut images, read through their Angel policy. Disney is definitely a no-no. Like anywhere ever, Disney does not do commercial licensing on their images unless you're, like an actual Disney partner. So, and they will come after you with trademark violations. They're known for doing that. So especially if you're thinking about using something that is a character from something that, or something that may be trademarked, you really, really want to look into that licensing before you do that and make sure that it is allowed. In terms of other images that are not character types, you want to make sure that you are buying a commercial license. So like in my shop, I sell SVG files and we have 3 different types of licenses. There is a personal use license, which means you're allowed to make whatever you want. You can give it away for gifts, but you cannot sell any of the items that you make with that license. We have 2 different commercial licenses that you can purchase for that. And it's scaled based on how many end products you want to sell. We have a small and a large use. So most SVG shops will sell you different types of licenses. So just make sure you're checking the license agreement, click that little read me thing when you're downloading your file and read those terms and make sure you're using it appropriately and you're not going to get in trouble.
Awesome. So we have a few people asking if you'll be sharing this presentation with everyone. And if you'd like to share it with us, we can mail it out to everyone.
Yeah.
Or if you have a blog post or anything, they can find it there.
I hadn't even thought that far yet. So I am happy I can send it to you and you can send it on to everybody else if you want. That would be totally fine.
And we did have some people who were asking for you to repeat the names of those contacts and videos, tutorials that you were recommending before. And
Yes. Okay. So the first one is Hey Let's Make Stuff. So you would go to heyletsmakestuff.com, and that in her shop, she has a Cricut Basics and a Cricut Ultimate Guide. And the other one is on YouTube. Her name is Angie Holden at the Country Chic Cottage. I believe on YouTube, she is just Angie Holden. So if you search Angie Holden on YouTube, you can find just a huge library of videos that will be super useful for you.
And we are just about out of time. I know we have so many unanswered questions. Where can people reach out to you if they have anything?
All right, let me switch. I've got one last slide here. So let's connect. You guys feel free to come hang out with me on social media. And feel free to send me any additional questions. I've got a contact form on my website at Happiness is Homemade, or you can even email me. It's not written down here, but it's Heidi, Heidi, at happinessishomemade.com. Or you can reach out to me, send me a message on any of the social media channels, and I am always happy to try and help you as best I can.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today, Heidi. And thank you everyone who joined us this Friday afternoon. We hope you all have a great and wonderful and healthy weekend.
Great. Thank you.